I hate being introverted. And if you've ever said those words to yourself, it's probably because of one of two things. One, you hate socializing or you lack the desire to improve your social skills. And two, you're forced to be in an environment where it's extremely extroverted, such as your job, school, living situation. We live in a world where roughly 30 to 50% of our population claims to be introverted. And yet our world is still catered to those extroverted individuals. Being an introvert is extremely hard. But to be honest with you guys, I really don't hate being introverted. I used to hate it. And so in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some of the reasons us introverts hate being introverted and how I learned to embrace it. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to welcome you guys to my channel. My name is Bridget. On this channel, you'll find me talk a lot about introverts, social anxiety, general anxiety, and other mental health related things. So if any of that interests you, make sure you go check out some of my other videos. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful or useful. Comment below what you'd like to see more from me, and subscribe. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that you probably hate being introverted because of those two reasons. While those are probably the main reasons, there are about 1,000 more reasons that I could think of why we would hate being an introvert. One of them is the fact that we're misunderstood. A lot of people see us as aloof or disinterested. And I can't tell you how many times where I've met a person and they became my friend or just an acquaintance, and they had said to me, "I thought you hated me when we first met." I have really bad RBF. But I'm also not the type of person to be extremely talkative when I first meet you, especially if we're in a larger group. And so that happens all the time. People they don't get it. And they think that we're being a particular way when in reality, we're not. We're also very overstimulated. When I go into a social gathering that is in like a public setting, if it's at a restaurant or if it's at a venue, if it's a party, whatever, if it's too noisy and you're talking to me, I can't understand you. I can't focus on anything but the loud noise that's in my ears. And that's why I don't like being in those kind of environments, because I know how I get. And if I can't focus, if I can't bring my best self, what's the point of going? And B, again, I'm gonna feel misunderstood because you're gonna think that I'm not listening, and it's just not gonna be good for either of us. We're also criticized by our friends and family because we are misunderstood and because we are constantly wanting to be alone. So we'll get a lot of questions like, "Why are you so quiet?" or "Why are you so shy? Why do you never come hang out with us? Why don't you go to this place with us?" Blah, 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 blah. And because we don't like being in those places, but we don't know how to tell the people, the important people in our life, that we just don't want to be there. Because it comes across as we don't want to be with them. And that's why it becomes very difficult. The last one I'm going to mention is the fact that we overthink a lot. We are constantly over-analyzing our thoughts and our ideas, and we're always in our head about things. So in particular, when we're in social settings and we're trying to figure out the right words, that's why we hate small talk, we're still so stuck inside our head. We also overthink about what happens after that social event. And we're running through the motions of how awful it was and how stupid we looked and all of these things. We overthink pretty much everything. And I used to feel all of these things all of the time. And I hated it. I hated that I was misunderstood by people. I hated that I couldn't tell the people in my life how I really felt. I hated that I overthought everything. One of the main reasons why I decided to stop that behavior or stop hating that part of me was the fact that it became truly exhausting. Like, I was just tired of running away from who I really was. I was tired of lying to people and making up excuses about why I didn't want to go to places or why I had to leave early. I was tired of trying to explain to people in my life why I'm the way I am. I was tired of not setting the right boundaries for myself. And this is going to sound extremely corny, but the only thing that was left for me was embracing it, was owning it, was making it a part of me and changing my mentality around how I saw being an introvert. Instead of hating this part of me, I had to love this part of me, because that was the only way I was going to not only accept myself, but help other people around me accept me. The more I was able to understand these parts of myself and understand how I got energized, understand what I needed, that was the only way that things were going to change, that I could change, that I could grow, that I could learn, and not like hate myself, you know, because that's, like I said, it's an exhausting feeling. And it's an awful feeling to hate such a huge portion of who you are. I've grown to understand what it means for me to operate at my best. And it's allowed me to spend more time and energy on my strengths, my actual strengths, instead of spending that time and energy on criticizing my weaknesses or what I thought were my weaknesses. And once you have that, once you have changing the mentality, everything else will follow. So I think the biggest concern is setting those boundaries, helping people in your life, the people that are currently in your life, trying to understand your new mentality around it. It's extremely easy when you first meet a person because you can set those boundaries right away. But for the people who are already in your life, it's a little bit more trickier. And sometimes people won't get it right away, but the right people will. When you learn to understand yourself better, you can communicate that better to other people. One of the biggest things that's also helped me along this is seeking out other like-minded people. So I have a lot of extroverts in my life, but I also have a lot of introverts. And I talk to those people about different things, right? I love my extroverted friends. I enjoy spending, like small increments in the things that they like to do. And it's not that I tolerate it, like I enjoy it, but just in small doses. But with the introverts in my life, I have that safety net. I have things to talk about, because there is a lot to talk about when you do feel misunderstood, when you feel like the rest of the world is living a way that you don't want to live. And when you're in that bubble, you need other people to be in that bubble with you. Otherwise, it just becomes super lonely, super dark, and you get in a very low state. So if you have people and you surround yourself with those people who think like you, who act like you, who share the same ideas, it's so much easier to, navigate all of those things that get difficult when you try to set those boundaries in your life. I know I kind of like jumbled up my words, but that's an overthinking, so what can you do? So I encourage those of you who still hate that part of you, who hate being an introvert, don't think of it as changing the way you are. Think of it as changing the mentality on how you see yourself, right? So it's only a negative thing when you think it's a negative thing. But if you believe it's a great part of you, it's the part that helps you do this and that, and you make it positive, then it becomes positive. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and got some use out of it as always, and I will see you next time.